7:30 on WPTF-TV 28. You're watching WPTF-TV 28, your NBC station. Now, Ben Garrett and Sharon Kester with news, Mark Barger with sports, and Van Coleman with weather. This is Newsbeat 28 Update.
Good evening, I'm Ben Garrett.
And I'm Sharon Kester. If you've looked outside in the past 2 hours, you know it's only getting worse.
And most of us can expect 3 or 4 more inches of the white stuff on the ground by tomorrow morning.
Sherry Whitney is standing by live along US 1 in North Raleigh. And Sherry, just how bad are the road conditions?
Extremely hazardous, Sharon. It's almost as if old man winter were trying to make up for a lost time all in one weekend. The roads are getting another heavy-duty dusting of snow now, as you alluded to. Right now, all of the roads that had been scraped are right back to square one, extremely hazardous. That is also the case for many of the major thoroughfares that were slushy today. Tonight, they have frozen over again. A long list of extremely hazardous roads, and that includes all of Wake County, 64 East and West, Highway 50 from Raleigh to Creedmoor into Granville County, 401 North and South, and number 1 North and South where we are, also on that list. Your bridges and overpasses are whited out with a double coating of ice and getting worse as we speak. Now, I-95 in Virginia is now officially closed. All hotels in Rocky Mount are full. An emergency shelter at Wesleyan College holds 1,000 people. It is now full to capacity. Now, there are a couple of emergency shelters in Nash County that are still open if you need a place to stay. That includes the YMCA on Church Street, Rocky Mount, Cooper's Elementary School at Highway 58 South. Now, once again, we can't say it enough. If you don't have to get out tonight, count yourself lucky, stay inside. And if you do have to come out, the Highway Patrol says use common sense. Take your flashlight, take a blanket, take a shovel, some of the things that you may need if you get stuck. Ben, Sharon?
Okay, good advice, Sherry. Now you get inside and get warm yourself.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks. Sherry Whitney reporting live from US 1 in North Raleigh.
While more than 1,000 stranded travelers are spending the night in Nash County emergency shelters, others are being housed by authorities in Johnston County. The problem there today was power outages, and Smithfield-Selma Senior High School was open to help keep people warm because hundreds are without electricity. But as the weather got worse tonight, travelers who got stuck on area highways also came looking for shelter. Ironically, the power outages have gotten so bad, the lights and heat went off at the first emergency shelter at Smithfield-Selma Senior High School, so the shelter was moved to Selma Elementary. About 24 people were staying there as of 9 o'clock tonight, some local and some out-of-state travelers.
We came from Richmond, Virginia, and we drove all the way down here in the snow and the sleet, and the highways were really treacherous. So we tried to find a room the last few hours, and we haven't been able to find anything. And we had a TV in our car, so this was on there, so we came here.
We were just scared, scared about wrecking or something if we try to drive it down here. So we just, had somebody come after us.
The Red Cross, Selma Boy Scouts, and other groups helped out to provide food and shelter tonight.
Icy roads are being blamed for at least 4 traffic deaths across our state this weekend. And those wintry conditions also have caused several hundred fender benders and other minor accidents. They included this wreck earlier tonight at the Wade Avenue interchange on the Raleigh Beltline. With the moisture on the roads expected to refreeze and the forecast for additional snow, travel will become even more treacherous before it gets any better.
The question on everyone's mind tonight is, when will we get an improvement in this weather?
Weatherman Van Coleman joins us now outside our studios in North Raleigh to try and answer that question. Van?
Well, the easy answer, Ben and Sharon, is that yes, things will be getting better, but they're going to get worse before they get better. As you can tell, it continues to snow very heavily. We've got large, wet snowflakes, and they're just perfect for covering the road very quickly. And whenever there's any kind of compaction, such as a tire running across it, it turns into a sheet of ice. So it is very treacherous snow, although it is beautiful. Coming up in the weather segment, I'll tell you just how long we expect this second snowstorm of the day to last.
Okay, thank you, Van. We'll look forward to seeing you in here.
Well, many Raleigh residents were glad today was Saturday so they could just stay home. This was a scene earlier today in the capital city, which looked like a ghost town. 2 inches of snow had already fallen by 9 this morning, making driving hazardous, and most people needed warnings to stay at home. By contrast, this is the busiest time of the year for the city's public works employees, who have been loading and laying salt on our roadways since 4:30 yesterday afternoon. And at the Raleigh-Durham International Airport, the weather forced a number of cancellations and delays, and some travelers were forced to spend a restless night inside the terminals.
The areas to the north and the west of the Triangle got the most snow and sleet today. In Granville County, they were measuring the snowfall totals by the foot instead of by the inch. Even the interstate was almost impassable, and many cars were left stranded. In some areas, snow drifts were up to 2 feet deep.
Even eastern North Carolina was not spared. Wilson residents awoke this morning to find 2 inches of ice on the ground, and it caught a lot of them unprepared. Many folks there didn't even have ice scrapers this morning, so they were forced to improvise. But the kids didn't seem to mind, and they found that while ice isn't good for snowballs, it is good for skating and sliding.
A tragedy in Wake Forest took the lives of 4 family members early this morning. 2 adults and 2 children died in a fire that swept through a rural home about 2 a.m. The Stony Hill and Wake Forest fire departments were called out to contain the blaze. Early this morning, the FBI and the Sheriff's Department were also called upon to help with the investigation. Officials say they're still trying to find out how the fire started.
What we look at would be the heat source to the house and verify that the furnace was working, operating correctly, and start from there.
The victims have been identified as 32-year-old John Robin Edwards, his 28-year-old wife Donna, and their 2 children, Nicholas, age 10, and Heather, 2 years old. The winter weather is slowing down the investigation into the cause of that blaze.
Terrible thing. Coming up, controversy over a remark made by a Wake County senator.
The exclusive story from a Triangle teacher who says she was the subject of a sexist remark. We'll explain when Newsbeat 28 Update continues.
I've traveled all around the world, from Mexico to China. Nothing could be finer.
Hello, Dad.
Than to be in Carolina.
I'm coming home.
Operator, give me 919. I need a Carolina boy on the end of the line. Just give me Red Oak, Greenville, Springville, Rose Hill. You can make it any place in Eastern Carolina. Operator, give me 919.
Eastern Carolina is a good place to call home. Carolina Telephone.
Remember when a value was really a value? Well, the Old America store remembers. In fact, we've made value a habit. You'll find a variety of craft kits and the latest patterns to add that personal touch to your home. Accent your favorite room with decorative brass from around the world. Old America has figurines, flower containers, and much more. Add elegance at mealtime with affordable glass beverageware from Old America. You'll find one of the largest selections of glassware in the area. With all this and more, you'll be back again and again to the Old America store.
Express mail from your post office offers you 46,000 drop-off points.
We deliver.
A guaranteed morning delivery.
We deliver.
And an overnight price of just $8.75.
We deliver.
Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service.
We deliver for you.
A Wake County teacher is upset about what she calls a sexist comment made by a state lawmaker. Wendy Marshall says she went to the legislature Monday night looking for support on the teacher's pay raise issue, but instead got what she considered to be a shocking response from a local state senator. Capitol Beat reporter Ann Hope Johnson has the exclusive story.
Wake County computer teacher Wendy Marshall went to the legislature Monday to join a rally for teachers' pay raises. Hundreds of teachers piled into a meeting of Wake County legislators to ask for a pay increase this year. Marshall, who is single, says she went up to Senator Jim Speed after the meeting to discuss her concerns about the frozen pay scales, but was stunned by his response.
To go to any state in the area around here and be paid for my year's experience. I wouldn't be frozen at the point where I enter. And his response to me was simply, honey, he said, if we find you a rich husband, would you stay here then? I didn't say anything. I was just astonished.
When we contacted Senator Speed about the rich husband comment, he said there was no reason in the world to be offended because it was said in a, quote, joking way.
This is a serious matter, and it's really nothing to joke about. The thinking that a teacher's salary is the second income has caused our salaries to remain very low.
I believe that if a male had approached him, his response would not have been anywhere near what he would have said to me. He wouldn't have said, you know, well, can we find you a rich wife?
Senator Speed did not wish to comment on camera. He said he thinks Marshall was, quote, looking for an avenue to complain. But he said he would be glad to apologize to Marshall and to discuss the pay situation with her. Even so, the Wake County Association of Classroom Teachers says the senator's remark perpetuates the idea that teaching is a second income. And President Wilma Parton believes that members may want to discuss the rich husband comment at their meeting on Thursday. In Raleigh, Ann Hope Johnson, Newsbeat 28 Update.
Well, we could spend the rest of the night telling you about all the closings we've received for tomorrow. Suffice it to say, the vast majority of church services have been canceled. Now, if you have any questions, please call ahead before risking the icy roads tomorrow morning. Most area shopping centers will be closed, though a number of grocery stores will try to stay open. There have been a number of factory closings as well. The best advice, again, is to call ahead. Well, Van Coleman's dried himself off now, and he joins us now to give us an update.
Boy, it is really coming down there outside, rather. The flakes are the size of $half, really stacking up high. I know in less than an hour here, we got over an inch of snow here at our Highwoods location. But as we mentioned earlier, it's got to get worse before it gets better. But all this is mighty good to the ski resorts.
Where do you find the best seafood around?
18, 19, 20, and look for a sign.
A Shoney's sign. R. This year, Shoney's has added something new to our seafood festival. Our new steak and shrimp platter.
Hi, I'm Rick O'Neill, the new Rick O'Neill Toyota in Sanford. My new dealership in Sanford has now been open for a month. I'd like to invite you to come to Sanford and save on a new Toyota. If you live in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Cary, and Fayetteville, you're only minutes away from Rick O'Neill Toyota in Sanford, conveniently located on US 1 and 15501. This month we have bargains on Toyota trucks and rebates on Toyota cars. So come see me at Rick O'Neill Toyota in Sanford for courteous service and savings.
Critics agree. You have the inside track to the triangle with the Insider's Guide, co-published and brought to you by WPTF-TV 28.
Chock full of information for the newcomer, visitor, or native.
A useful guide to the Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill area. It's an easy-to-read bargain.
From education to the arts to restaurants, WPTF-TV's Insider's Guide gives you the inside track to the triangle. To order, send a check for $9.95 to WPTF-TV 28, Post Office Box 1511, Raleigh.
Never in Avanti Fur's history at Tallheimers have prices been slashed like they are now during the last chance fur clearance. Every fur in stock is included at prices that are incredibly low. Nothing is held back. Item for item and quality for quality, Avanti won't be undersold during this last chance clearance. It's the final markdown and sale of the season. Through Monday only, every fur will be priced like never before at Tallheimers, Crabtree Valley Mall, and for this event only at Cross Creek Mall. Hurry, this event won't be repeated or extended.
Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying a pleasant evening. It sure is pretty outside. We can thank our photographer, Kevin Bell, and our chief engineer, Lathan Hamner, for bringing us our weather shot tonight out of North Raleigh. This is what's happening outside, and it is going to continue to happen for a while. More on that in a moment. What about those numbers for today? 30 was the high, 27 the low, not much spread in our temperatures. And as for the precipitation, we recorded about, well, just shy of a ½ an inch of moisture out at the Raleigh-Durham Airport. Certainly, the accumulation for snow has been much greater around the area. Now, presently, we continue to have a big flake snow falling in the Triangle. The temperature in the capital, 28 degrees. The winds continue out of the north at 7. That makes it feel like 20 degrees outside. The humidity is up to 96%, and the barometer is holding steady right where it was at 6 o'clock, 30.33. Now, checking around the state, not much change in Cape Hatteras. They have 45 at 6, only dropped down to 44 presently. We're getting a rain-snow mix in Elizabeth City with 35 degrees. You see the 28s posted in Raleigh-Durham as well as over in Greensboro. And it really hasn't cooled off that much over towards the mountains. 29 degrees in Hickory, but the snow has stopped in Asheville. They got 3 inches earlier from the same storm that is passing through our area presently. Let's go to our radar shot, and we'll show you where the snow continues to fall. This is rain down south of Fayetteville here, but once you get to about this point, it is a solid mass of snow moving pretty quickly now at almost 40 miles an hour, the storm itself, to the east. So whatever you're seeing now won't be there that much longer. Just a couple more hours, and we'll be in the clear. Let's go to our satellite picture, and I'll show you what's happening. You see all that moisture that moved across the area. Look at this storm. That's the one that's coming through presently. Earlier in the day, we had this moisture just flooding across the state all afternoon, but then this storm popped up out of Tennessee and continues to track to the east. Let's freeze it and look at the position that it's in now. You'll see that it is just west of the Triangle here, still over in Greensboro. They're really getting dumped on. The moisture falling as far as South Carolina. They are getting some snow in this area of South Carolina, but again, all of this moving quickly to the east. Why did we get the first snow of the day and last night? Well, this low-pressure cell off of South Carolina was just funneling moisture into the Old North State as well as South Carolina. Now, the reason that it turned into snow was because of the high pressure, large area of high pressure stretching from the New England territory through the nation's midsection up to the high plains. All of this bringing down some very cold air. And when you combine that with all that moisture, that's exactly what you got. Snow and lots of it. We do see this system, the frontal system, just giving some rain to northern Florida. But when we look at tomorrow's map, we'll see that low-pressure cell move out of the picture, and this high pressure will take a little better stance into our area. So tomorrow is going to be somewhat of a transitional day. Later tonight, after the snow stops, we'll start to see the cloud cover break up. And tomorrow during the day, early in the morning, lots of clouds, and then by the afternoon, a slow peek at the sun now and then. Well, what about for the rest of tonight? Well, as I mentioned, we expect the snow to taper off after midnight as the system moves through the area. You could expect 4 to 6 inches from this system we're talking about when it first started, about 9 o'clock tonight. Now, winds will continue out of the northeast, and the overnight low well below freezing. Now, tomorrow during the day, more clouds and sun, but a peek at it in the afternoon with a high of 43. And into Sunday night, well, finally, we're going to see some solid, clear skies. We will see some clouds now and then, but by and large, fair skies will show us the stars tomorrow night, and we'll be above freezing. Now, into Monday, all the snow is going to be gone. Look at that sunshine. It's going to warm up to about 52 degrees. Maybe cool sunshine, but it'll feel warmer than we had today. Now, into Tuesday, pretty good chance of rain all across the state on Tuesday. But by Wednesday, the skies start to clear again. The temperature falters a bit from the 62 on Tuesday down to 57. But by Thursday, lots of sunshine. But look at the afternoon high, still well below 40 degrees. So our weather is really wavering. We'll heat up like 80 degrees, then we get snow, and we're going to go through now a warming trend and then cooling down at the end of next week.
We were beginning to think that groundhog was wrong when he said 6 more weeks of winter, but he was right. Okay, thanks, Van.
Just ahead, it may have been cold outside today, but it was hot in college hoops. Mark Varger has highlights of big wins for Duke and State.
And NASCAR drivers have a warm-up race for tomorrow's Daytona 500. Stay with us. Sports is next.
Sure, my local Carolina Ford dealer offered me a choice of low financing or cash back, just like a few other dealers. But he also offered me the Carolina's #1 selling compact pickup, Ford Ranger. I got air conditioning, AM/FM stereo with cassette, two-tone paint, sliding rear window, and lots more. All for just $96.23.
Now get 4.9 financing or up to $750 cash back on Ford Ranger by March 2nd at your Carolina Ford dealer.
No wonder they outsell everybody.
Express mail from your post office has a whole fleet of 727.
We deliver,
a guaranteed morning delivery, and an overnight price of just $8.75. Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service. We deliver for you.
Put $5,000 in a CD at most banks, and all you'll get is a standard rate. Now, put $5,000 in a CD from United Carolina Bank, and you'll get their high yield rate. And if you act right now, you can get this week's rate plus passport banking with no monthly service fee. You get custom checks, credit card discounts, free traveler's checks, over a dozen extras. It's simple. You can get their rate or a UCB rate with all the extras. So what are you waiting for?
And now, another great feud in history.
And so this sheriff who would oppress peasants and hunt down my merry men now steals the fair maid Marion. What shall be his fate, men? By the way, nice outfit. Cement for community service.
Kill his mother! No! Boil him in oil!
Good answer! Survey says the number one answer.
The New Family Feud, weeknights at 7 p.m. on WPTF-TV 28. Sports Beat 28, brought to you by James Finch Chevrolet in Bailey, where you get more for your money.
This is one season Jim Valvano is bound to remember for a very long time, probably for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, but this is going to be one that he'll remember pretty happily, I think. It's kind of a weird day, but for a while, folks wondered if State's game with Georgia Tech was even going to be played. The snow meant that the Wolfpack's plane did not leave the Triangle this morning until about 10:30. Now, that was less than 2 hours before the scheduled tip-off in Atlanta. But the Wolfpack did arrive just about the time the game was to start. They delayed the proceedings for about 15 minutes. And Tom Hammonds didn't even play for Tech today because of a strained knee ligament. But it was still a tight game. Rodney Monroe had 20 points today to lead State. They were up by 2 at halftime. Second half, they were up by as many as 9. Chucky Brown was 17. But State still had to go right down to the wire. It wasn't until Brian Oliver missed some free throws with a second to go that State escaped with a 71-69 victory.
It was tough. We were a little heavy-legged, and I was really proud of the way the kids hung in there. I knew it was going to be tough when on the way in, when we were struggling like crazy to get here, and we're rushing, and the bus driver's rushing, and we ran into a funeral procession on the way here. I said that was the topper, you know, for the day. But it was a heck of a basketball game.
And all that trouble very much worth it for the Wolfpack. Trouble was also the name of the game for Kansas today. Former UNC assistant coach Roy Williams brought the Jayhawks into Cameron Indoor Stadium for a battle with Duke. Now, these two had met in the Final Four last year. Kansas won then, but today belonged to Duke, and especially Danny Ferry. Tyler Glover's got the story.
Even though Duke retired jersey number 35 today, Danny Ferry proved that his career with the Blue Devils is far from over. Ferry went on a tear in the first half, hitting from virtually everywhere, scoring 20 of his game-high 26 before intermission, as Duke was up 53-34.
I was definitely keyed up for the game, and I think I had a good mindset for the game. My mind was really into the game.
I thought Danny Ferry was a heck of a player for the last 3 years, and I don't think he showed me anything today that would change that opinion. Maybe as complete a basketball player as anybody in the country.
Despite an 18-point performance by Milt Newton, the Jayhawks could never get back in the game. Duke too much inside with Ala Abdulnabi's 14 points, and with Robert Brickey doing some skywalking, it was over as Duke got the revenge for their Final Four loss in Kansas City. The final, 102-77.
There's added incentive anytime you lose to a team the previous time you play them, and the fact that that game was in the Final Four and they went on to win the national championship makes it even more important.
We took them out of the things they really like to do in the offense, and at points they got frustrated, and it enabled us to get runs because of our defense.
Duke returns to ACC action Monday when they face Georgia Tech at Cameron. In Durham, Tyler Glover, Sports Beat 28.
Okay, thanks, Tyler. Now, if NCAA tournament bids went out today, Virginia and Clemson would probably be two teams on the bubble, and they were both trying to improve their standing as they battled in Charlottesville today. The Cavaliers' Richard Morgan did not score a point in the first half, but he came through with 15 in the second half, and Virginia took a 2-point lead into the closing seconds. Clemson had a chance to either win or tie the game, but they couldn't do either one. Tim Kincaid couldn't get a shot off, and Virginia survived 85-83. Checking the scoreboard around the region, Campbell falls today. NC Central wins. Old Dominion a winner. Make that Wake Forest a winner over Old Dominion. In women's action, Campbell victorious, and so is NC State.
Now, on the national scene, those wild and wacky guys on the Big Ten gave us another upset today. This time it was Illinois going down for the count. The Fighting Illini went up to Wisconsin and only scored 18 points in the first half, and that made them easy pickings for the Badgers. Trent Jackson and company cruised today as they whipped Lou Henson's squad. The final in Madison, 72-52. Checking the top 20, Oklahoma and Arizona breezed to victories today. Georgetown wins with little trouble. Syracuse also victorious. Memphis State an upset winner over Florida State tonight. Seton Hall falls to Pittsburgh. Iowa over Minnesota. Ohio State loses by a point to Northwestern, and Vanderbilt over LSU. Now, tomorrow's the big day for NASCAR drivers, the Super Bowl of racing, the Daytona 500. But today they held another warm-up event today, and it was the Goodies 300. This was one of several spills today. L.D. Ottinger, it was in a spin late in the race. That was Brett Hearn, who went flying by him on his roof. Believe it or not, no one was hurt in that, and it was a wild finish as Rusty Wallace lost by about 2 feet to Darrell Waltrip, and Darrell takes the victory.
I was telling my guys on the race, I said, this is the most tense racing I've ever done. It was just so close. If anybody messed up, they got into somebody. You had to squeeze out of the throttle. You'd fall back 4 or 5 spots. It was really, really tight. It was exciting, but I don't know if I'd want to do that every week or not.
And the Hornets beat Pacers tonight.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Coming up, a major rock concert in the Dean Dome had to be postponed today.
But tomorrow the show will go on. The details are next.
Attention car buyers, an important limited time offer. Now at James Finn Chevrolet, a large selection of new cars and trucks priced to move. Get up to $1,000 rebate on select models. And James Finn Chevrolet has financing as low as 4.9%. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Come to James Finn Chevrolet in Bailey, where you get more for your money. A short drive from the Triangle, Main Street and Highway 581 Bailey, just west of Wilson, with Eastern North Carolina's largest selection of quality used cars. James Finn Chevrolet Bailey, where customer satisfaction is our main attraction.
Comrade, what is special of week?
It's toilet paper.
It's good price?
It's cheap.
Cheap toilet paper?
Some grocery shoppers are brainwashed into thinking that weekly specials actually save them money.
Cheap toilet paper.
But we know what really saves you money are extra low prices on all the groceries you buy.
Toilet paper. Cheap toilet paper.
Cheap toilet.
Word of mouth advertising. Works every time.
Rock star John Bon Jovi may have to buy a house here after all the time he spent in the Triangle this week. Friday, he gave an anti-drug speech at Raleigh's Broughton High, and tonight, Bon Jovi was supposed to give a concert at the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill, but thanks to the snowstorm, he'll have to spend at least one more night here. The show has been rescheduled for 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The doors will open at 2:30.
And thanks for joining us tonight.
Good night.